Okay, welcome back, everyone. Lunch was all right, wasn't it? I thought it was quite nice. It's all right as conference food goes. That was quite good. So thank you to anybody involved in that. Not that they'd be here. We've got an amazing session now. And the one thing that I just want to point out to everyone, even though we've covered it in duct tape, is this phone here. This phone is currently not quite live, but recording one of our panel guests today because they're a social media influencer and that's what they do. So she was just having a little panic about having to shift this around because like looking this good on social media takes a lot of effort and that's the bit you don't see.
You're too kind.
So right, here with me today, I've got Sophia Raffa from Kodak Alaris, who I'm going to call Ms. LinkedIn. And then we've also got Jade Tambini, who is B2B Jade, if anybody does follow any B2B influencers. This is the one that you need. In fact, probably the only one that you need to follow. Is that? No? Oh, she's modest. But Jade is going to film some of this, and there will be some sound bites out of it as well. So if you don't follow, then you definitely should. But this is Ms. TikTok. So we've got LinkedIn and TikTok. Yeah, we've got a
exactly
of social media platforms, and then we're just going to have a bit of a conversation about how to generate leads in that space. So please join me in welcoming both Sophia and Jade. Right, I think first things first then, let's do introductions properly and just explain who we are and how we got there. So let's start with you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia Raffa. I came from beautiful Frankfurt, Germany, so thanks for British Airways yesterday. I could come here and be here at the Martecopia session. A little bit about me. My name is written in a little bit strange form with ZS because originally I'm coming from Hungary. Nevertheless, I have more than 15 years sales and marketing experience on international level, and I'm excited to be here and share some of my experience when it comes to social media.
Do you know, in the world of spelling, that's been an easier one for me to contend with today. So I'm okay with that. It's great to have you here. And then Jade, over to you.
Hello, I'm Jade Tambini, aka B2B Jade, and I run a company called B2B Jade. I was running Tambini Marketing, a marketing consulting business, but then after setting up on TikTok to help marketing managers confront their CEOs and make change, I decided to fully overhaul my business, listen to their insights, hundreds and thousands of comments a month, and just listening to those insights helped me relaunch my business to be an influencer. I created a course called the B2B Breakthrough Academy, which is a marketing strategy course to help marketing managers get more strategic. So my job is literally, has been born from just posting on TikTok. So I'm excited to talk about
Don't get any ideas. Some people are very special and they can do it. Mind you, there's lots of people in the pandemic and in their bedrooms that got into this. And actually, let's start there. How did you get into that space?
Yeah, so I fell into a bit of a black hole after having children, and I just went offline. I was considered an influencer back in about 2015 when Twitter was big. And when I came back to work after having kids, I'm only talking like 2 or 3 years, Instagram was pretty saturated already. I didn't feel like I could do much on there. So I thought, let me have a play around with TikTok. And it seemed to work well for me because TikTok really values authenticity of just someone talking like they're talking to a friend. So I decided to just become marketing managers' friends. Hey, have you had a boss not treat you too well? Yeah, me too. Hey, have you not got the budget? Yeah, me too. And then, yeah, it just snowballed. So I just stayed there. It was quite a while before anything happened.
Just being yourself and that authenticity is what sold, effectively.
Yeah, and I think we can learn from that on any platform we're on. Like, I think the way people consume content now is they do just want to feel like they're in a room with someone who knows their stuff. They don't want to feel like talked at in a corporate way anymore necessarily. So that's just what I've learned. It's not even about TikTok. It's just what were the people having difficulty with, and then what valuable content can I give them to help them with that problem. But yeah, definitely if anyone wants to be a TikToker, the main piece of advice is just to pick up your phone and imagine you're sending a WhatsApp video to your friend. Like if they've asked a question, hey, how should I measure return on investment in marketing? Be like, hey, so the first thing to think about is, and then just really edit it down.
That's not what she said when she was moving around her camera to try and get the best angle. But anyway,
yeah, just check it on.
But what I really like about that, and I'm sure we'll come onto it in a minute, but actually the authenticity, vulnerability, and just, imagine it's a friend. I think the worst thing that we do as marketers, and have done for some long time, is like trying to outsmart each other.
Yeah.
Trying to create acronyms and words and technologies and things that make me look special or you look special rather than everybody else. There's a lot of stupid questions that aren't asked because they're afraid. And I guess that's the authenticity that you're delivering in your pieces.
Yeah, I never use jargon. I've got a 6-week marketing strategy course. There's not a single word of jargon in there. I just think we can simplify things and talk humanly. And this is what I think on LinkedIn or TikTok, any platform, I've always said if we could put a camera in front of our best salesperson when they're in that flow state, when a meeting's going really well with the prospect and they're just in the flow and the prospect's eyes are lighting up and they're like, wow, this really makes sense to me, I'm going to buy from this company. If we could film that without them knowing, close up on their face, and then just repurpose it into 40-second sound bites, if you posted 2 of those a day for 6 months, your funnel would be full. And that's what I did. I built £1 million pipeline within a few months once it started to take off. But it's having that confidence to keep going at it and having that good content that resonates, because so often people think the content later, I'll go on TikTok, what should we post? But it's sort of the other way around.
It's that instant gratification. If I do something, I want a response straight away rather than I need to keep
building
doing it
and
going. Awesome. Okay, thanks, Jade. Right, so let's move into the world and talking about professionalism and trying to outsmart each other and make people look great and this, that, and the other. Welcome, LinkedIn.
This old traditional way,
Now, I've always had a bit of a problem with LinkedIn because, I have imposter syndrome on LinkedIn, and those of you that do know me or are seeing me now can kind of judge me as I'm pretty just grounded. And that sometimes makes me feel like not the cleverest person or the person that is the most authentic. So is it the same for LinkedIn? Is it the same process for LinkedIn as it is for TikTok?
I would say that you can use on one hand this AI tools, what we have already heard today in our sessions, but also on the other hand, I do love afterwards doing some personal touch on each and every of my content. So English is obviously my first foreign language, so many times I have plenty of ideas, and I do love using AI tools just to put things there and then get something. Normally, I don't like taking each and every content one-on-one because then the system makes their own personalizations and it's not me. I also really want to see myself, my words, my ideas over there. So sometimes either I do tons of iterations or I just also put something over there. Because I also do believe that personalization is the most important when it comes to social. And also authenticity and creativity, because otherwise how can you shine digitally? How can you show that you are one in a million?
And I think that, I don't know whether that is the differentiation, but the difference between the two platforms in terms of making something shine and stand out versus making something actually like a video to your mates. It's not the kind of thing that I think I would see on LinkedIn. Is that right? Or is LinkedIn changing slightly? Am I giving it a bad rep here?
I would say it depends on your network, because I also hear time to time from my friends, oh, I don't want to go there because I get only sales requests, or I don't want to go there because people go into super politics or something. I would say it's important to find a couple of people who you would identify as influencers or who you follow, and then this whole platform can give you really a huge benefit, like Propolis, because Propolis also a community wherever you can post so many things and then you can get feedback from like-minded people, from people from your own industry, and I think that's really important, and that's basically the superpower of social, either we talk about TikTok or on LinkedIn.
Okay, so let's bring it into B2B marketing then. So I'm going to come back to you, Jade, in the world of. Tell me, I would not think that TikTok was built for B2B marketing. I mean, I'm not even sure I've got a TikTok account, but I think that's an age thing.
Yeah, it's a funny one because, usually the first question people ask me is, should we be on TikTok? And I usually say probably not, because there's so many things that as B2B companies, maybe as smaller B2B companies, we need to be focusing on first. Like these guys asking me, should I be on TikTok? Also, the CRM is not functioning well, or they don't understand how the ad spend is performing, or maybe there's no sales alignment. So I'm like, well, no, don't just jump on TikTok and think it's going to solve the problems. Interestingly, more than 50% of my audience are aged above 35. So there are a lot less, like in terms of my audience, I'm obviously not attracting 17-year-olds because it's going to be really boring for them. So I think there are misconceptions about the platform. That said, I think it's also, for B2B, it's just figuring out where your buyers are and what they want the platform for. So for example, my audience is B2B marketing managers, and they like the humor I give on TikTok. They like the sound bites, because in the evening, they're quite happy to hear someone de-stress them from their job. But if you're selling to like C-suite engineers or something like that, and do they really want their downtime to be looking at, you know, how you help them solve their problem? So I think the uniqueness of what I do works. Like you could argue that my audience are kind of B2C, even though they're not their marketing managers. Like it's a person, I'm resonating with them on a personal level. But one thing I would say is I've gone viral on LinkedIn with TikTok videos.
Sure.
So that was quite interesting as well. Like people have gone, well, that's different, that's interesting, I like that. Why is she sat in a car talking to me on LinkedIn? So I think it's nice to experiment a little bit. But yeah, I wouldn't tell people to rush to TikTok. What I would say, if there's one piece of advice I would give to B2B marketing managers or anyone now, is just to create a long-form, short-form content strategy. So whatever platform you're going to be on, come up with a list of 10 questions that your prospects ask you most. Then pick a long form. So I recommend a video podcast. Get yourself a decent camera. You don't have to be too expensive. Get your subject matter expert to talk for like an hour to you. Just ask them questions about that topic. Get them to chill out for the first 15 minutes, laugh, joke, don't feel it has to be perfect. And then chop that down in a tool called Descript. It's literally a Word document. You can just delete all the junk, get out all the ums. Or I think maybe sometimes we just get it really concise, make it into a 20-minute podcast episode on video, and then literally make 20, 30-second clips and post 2 a day for 2 weeks, and then have another one. And that is what I would do. Like, people are engaging with content like that. Like, if you look at Chris Walker on LinkedIn, he talks about it all the time, and we don't agree with everything he says, but that is a strategy that works. And that's what I've done to build a fully inbound business for myself. I literally did it because I was sick of CEOs saying no to it. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'll just do it for myself then.
Do it for me.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah, somebody's regretting it somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
well, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. Over to you in terms of, like, give us some examples of how we can use LinkedIn in a B2B market.
If I would be honest, then we should sit here 2-3 days or something like that. But
Has anybody got
just
time?
In a nutshell,
2-3 days?
But just in a nutshell, B2B people tend to be more shy when it comes to sharing some information and doing some more digital footprints. What I'm currently doing as a kind of experiment also with one of our UK sales director is using LinkedIn newsletters. So in my eyes, that's one of the very best channel at the moment, because you see exactly who subscribed. And also you can say, okay, is this my first level connection, second degree, or third one? And then you can already start doing also some networking and socialization. Also, at the end of the day, you're gonna see a really nice and detailed summary about what have you done, who has checked your content from which location, some company names, and that already give you some visibility, what, for example, many of the CRM tools cannot, because of the cookie-less life and privacy data and all those things. So that's right now one of my very best and favorite channel, but also checking the content engagement. Also coming for this event with Jade, I really enjoyed this whole, I wouldn't say work, it was more for me like a kind of fun, just to generate content for Propolis or for on my newsletter, also sharing your content on LinkedIn, because I'm not really on TikTok. But anyway, it was really exciting, and also many times I checked some of your other posts and all engagements. And yeah, I sent a couple of connection requests, and I also see some people here at the audience who I hope engage to come here to listen us. So that's definitely a really great tool wherever you can see exactly who are your people and who could you engage and do some business together. Because the purpose of this whole socialization and social selling is to make some personal contact, to build up long-term relationships rather than take it or leave it or such old school sales things.
And I think just to like reiterate what you've just said, because I certainly didn't realise until I looked over my questions I was going to ask you, you actually did a social media campaign for this session.
I would say so, yeah, so that's why.
So it's in action. Just tell me how you did that. Just walk us through how you did that so these guys know that they were collared. Like, you've fallen into the marketing trap, fools.
I just did a couple of posts, I guess. You guys asked me to do a video on it.
Yeah.
So I put together a video of why to come. I don't know if anyone did join because of me, though.
Oh, 100%. I'm only here because of you, Jade. and then you've reached out to people on LinkedIn when they interacted
directly
with the...
Yeah, one of them is smiling over there, Dan. So we already had a talk also, some calls about how he used also social media. So yeah, I'm more than happy to get more and more engagement because many times we tend to forget that, yeah, we are sitting in front of our laptop and, okay, is that my whole life? No. Our whole life is way more bigger. You really have to go out of your comfort zone and to get to know more people. And how shall you do that? So either you come for events like this, unfortunately there are only a couple of them throughout the year, or you start using social media and being sociable.
I think when I sit and I hear that story, I'm kind of like questioning the power of combining platforms. You know, and Jade, you're almost like, well, I just did a video because that's what I do really good and really well. And then Sofia's there sort of going, well, actually, I took it and campaignized it almost and nurtured leads and things. Do you think that there's power in putting those two things together from your point of view, Jade?
I think the way I've approached it with my business is I have gone fully demand creation. So I set up on TikTok 2 years ago. I started posting 3 or 4 times a day for quite a consistent period to get the algorithm to know me. And then I started listening. I listened for like 8 months. So I was still consulting with Tambini marketing for my money, but I had this vision that I was going to monetize whatever was happening on TikTok. So I decided to just listen. And I feel like if businesses had an arm of the business that was devoted to experimenting with finding ways to put out content that resonates and then just listen to what people have to say, you would literally be able to shape a new arm to your business, because that is what I did. And now I've completely dropped the other arm. So my strategy is fully automated inbound. I don't speak to anyone before they buy from me now. It's a digital product for sale. So if I want to take the whole summer off with my children, which is my goal, I can take 8 weeks off. My business runs generally fine. So what I would say to that, though, is that there's definitely a place for outreach. Like, if I now wanted to double revenue for next month for B2B Jade, I would immediately go to outbound, because there are so many. I get about 40 email addresses a day from my content, which is fairly low at the minute because I'm not being massively aggressive on my TikTok, but I would be looking at who's attended 3 of my webinars in a row, who's downloaded my lead magnets for the last 2 months, who's regularly asking me questions on TikTok, and I would ring them, like, right, do you want some one-to-ones? And, you know, so there's a role for both, I think. Sure. Like, my strategy is fully inbound, but if I wanted to push things further, I don't because I've got kids, but like that, I think it's like a mixture of the two. Yeah.
Actually, a marketer makes the best influencer, I guess, because you're not just doing the videos, you've got all the marketing smarts.
I mean, that's what's interesting, is that people think this stuff is fluffy, like what I'm doing, but it got to the point with my content where I had to close my doors to the business. It was a problem because there were so many leads coming in and people booking my consulting hours online that I had to close the door, and now I've gone to a one-to-many approach with the course. But the message is, if I hadn't been patient for that full 12 months where there were performance indicators, oh, this is working, people are engaging, people are asking, do you have a course? You should make a course. Do you have a course? Like, right, listen, what would you want from a course? What don't you like about CIM? What didn't you like about your degree? What's the gap? What's missing? If I hadn't given it that time and built up this email list on that journey, if I just wanted quick sales, I would just be like hounding people. They wouldn't want to deal with me. So I'm pessimistic about B2B marketing at the moment, because I'm just worried that our leaders, the people who aren't marketers, will not let us move away from what's working.
Yeah.
Like the 2% return on outbound sales. Like, I'm a sales girl. I did 100 calls a day, 2 demos a day, 1 sale for 2 years. And so I've recently said this to people when trying to convert them, is in 2006, when I wanted sales, I did more cold calls. In 2024, when I want more sales, I post more content. Mm-hmm. It's not fluffy. It's not a supportive strategy. It is literally 100% of my revenue now. And I just wish that we could get leaders to wake up and give it time, but also equip marketers with the tools, because the video content is not strong enough. Mm-hmm. Like, you can scroll videos and we've got that. Have you heard of the millennial pause?
Yes, yeah.
Like the millennial pause. So I was chatting to some guys earlier that I trim out 0.3 second gaps between sentences in my content. So like, any fluff word is gone. I don't know, I don't think. What I was wondering is gone. To script, it helps you edit it out. And so it's like, good point, good point, good point. People don't have, when you think about when you watch video content, you don't have time, do you? If it's not to the point, you're scrolling, or on LinkedIn the same. But I really think LinkedIn video works really well as well.
Well, interesting point about LinkedIn as well is you talk about posting content every day, like twice a day, all of that kind of regular. It's immediate, it's now. And actually, if I see something on TikTok, not TikTok because I haven't got a TikTok account. Who am I kidding? I'm 44.
I'll help you set up now.
Okay, all right, we're on it. But if I see something on Instagram, maybe, or maybe Facebook still, let's be honest, and it's not relevant, or it's even a couple of weeks old, like I'm done, I'm over it, and I'm gone, and I'm old. So so in the world of LinkedIn, how do you know that something is time relevant? Because that's a very different feed, and I accept a lot more time lag in LinkedIn than I would in that kind of social media.
Yeah, because many users tend to log in only once per week. So I'm also quite a crazy person, so I have I don't say that weekly I do 5 to 10 posts, but at least 1 or 2, and I always check the relevance and everything. LinkedIn is a little bit slower, but nevertheless, the quality of the data is amazing over there. So if you think about that, last year they reached the 1 billion users. So this is a huge database. So this is somehow, it's crazy. But also on the other hand, if you check who set the content creator mode, so this creator mode on LinkedIn, it's only 11 million users. So this is only 0.1% of the whole database, so it means a huge amount of opportunity to generate content. And may I ask you, audience, that who has ever done LinkedIn PPC, so this paid ads campaign?
I hope there's quite a few of you. Yeah. Now TikTok? Okay.
Maybe next year. Please ask next year, and then we're going to make a comprehension. I just asked you because, there were so many statistics, but I also see that so many marketing people still think that, only one LinkedIn ad, and then fingers crossed we will do this, we will generate 100 leads. So that was basically in the good old days, like 5 or 10 years ago, when we invested like 10,000 euro, and then we received, a bunch of contacts. It's amazing. But nowadays, the users tend to give less and less details, and they try to do less and less digital footprints. So what shall we do? So instead of doing what everyone is doing, so following some old rules, then let's do leading in this direction, so creator mode. And then let's generate content, let's generate personalized content, what rings actually the bell in people's mind, and then try to keep these long and meaningful relationships, because maybe your person will not buy today from you, but maybe tomorrow. Or maybe this person is not gonna make a business with you, but maybe can do some recommendations later on, and then you can already do some nice and meaningful business in the future.
So there's definitely between both of you the same sentiment of effort. Like, you have to put a lot of effort in, and time. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to trust it, and I guess getting leaders to be convinced to do that. What do you think is the big difference between the two social media platforms? And I'll ask both of you, you know, whether you've got an opinion on, because they sometimes feel a bit like chalk and cheese, but everything that you've said is a similar process in a slightly different environment, I guess.
I think it's why people go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people go to TikTok to be entertained or to learn in...
Oh, I don't know. I've been entertained by some crap on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all have. Yeah.
Again, it depends on who you follow, because also I have like 20, so to say, really heavily content generators, also from big companies like Google or T-Mobile, and they are every day doing something. But also on the other hand, it depends on, yeah, it's like business Tinder, with whom you want to go out together. So
Business Tinder.
LinkedIn is basically business Tinder.
Now I'm interested.
So yeah, let's talk about something different.
Right.
Swipe right or
I
left.
don't know which one it is.
No,
Actually,
no,
yeah, there are two
happily
options.
married woman,
always,
yeah.
Actually, there are always two options, so either ignore or accept a contact. But that's definitely, so both platforms, if you involve Tinder as well in the whole conversation, so you want to build up some meaningful relationship. And you have to put something out of you, so some information about you, what rings a bell for you, what is exciting, or what was yesterday something amazing, what did you do today here, for example. And then try to use this information together with your prospects' information and try to combine in order to start a conversation, because basically the most important thing is to earn the right to start a conversation rather than jump on someone.
I guess in TikTok it's exactly the same, because if I don't want to engage, I just scroll on by. Right, so I'm swiping right or swiping left or accepting or rejecting or whatever. So, ladies and gentlemen, the moral of the story is that LinkedIn and TikTok is just Tinder, right? Or maybe Tinder is a social media platform. I could sit here and talk to these ladies all day long, but I am very, very conscious that there's probably some questions that the audience are going to want to ask, and we've only got a few more minutes. So I can carry on asking questions, but I'd also like to throw to the floor. Is there anybody that wants to ask anything specific about LinkedIn or TikTok or indeed just B2B on social media? Yep. Just here. Thanks, Amy. In the middle.
I love when people put their hand down. I did it earlier. I was like,
now find me.
Hello.
Hi.
Hiya. This one's for Sophia, please. You mentioned before that I think you said you post maybe like once or twice a week, and then you do a lot of like listening stuff. Would you recommend that for people maybe who are just starting out, trying to get into like the personal brand space?
Yeah, so you have to start somewhere. What I definitely like is whenever you, for example, identify some of your influencers or people who you do appreciate, and then you can start with super easy things like only repost. Or you can also start to take, if you work with a marketing team and you concentrate only on your company stuff, then you can ask your marketing team to help you generate content. And then what I'm doing, I try to combine some information and then also putting out my ideas to this. So I do love doing a little bit more research before I publish something, but there are also several other influencers. Björn Rade, for example, he is German, but also posting a lot of things about personal branding in English. He has, for example, almost every day something. So you can also take small pieces and then just put it out and check the analytics, because it gives you a lot of information. Does it make sense? Does it ring a bell? Or what is this actually, what you want to talk about? And then once you get a little bit more feedback, then you should know more or less your path. Welcome.
Anyone else? Any questions? I'm blinded by the lights, so you're going to have to do a dance if I can. One at the front right here. Microphone's on its way. It's a long way round, though. Thanks, Amy.
Hi. Okay. My question about LinkedIn is about the use of sponsored content versus advertising, I suppose, ads. So how do you see the function of those two things, and when would you use sponsored content?
It depends on the region as well. So I'm working heavily with France, UK and Germany. For UK, I would use some sponsored content, but nevertheless, I wouldn't just simply put one ad and then waiting for the miracle, but also I would simply somehow integrate into a long-term awareness campaign or for organic posts, and also putting some other elements next to this. Also, when it comes to sponsored ads, again, in good old days, we could use the lead gen form and then, oh yeah, there were so many contents. But nowadays, what I see as a kind of trend, especially for the Germans and the French region, is that people love to click on this and then go to a landing page whenever they can get more information. And then they are doing some stalking. And maybe not from this campaign, but maybe in a couple of weeks' time, you're gonna see this lead again. It depends on your tracking how you can check the user engagement and the whole user experience.
I'd add to that as well to like see if you can get your organic content working. So like testing multiple things, like on LinkedIn, kind of documents can work really well, where you've got like 12 slides that they scroll through. And so then if you find there's a format that really works for you, then repost it with a call to action and put ad spend behind that. Because sometimes we kind of go with, oh, I'm going to spend this much on LinkedIn advertising this month, and then we just, oh, what should the content be? I think kind of making something go not go viral, but work organically, and then, okay, that works. Let's repurpose that and repeat it loads. And
that test point, I think, is such a good one as well, because, you know, particularly in platforms like LinkedIn, but we get stuck on something that we think works, but things change all the time. Yeah. Like, I cannot believe how quickly things are changing. So when you write something off in a test, like, revisit it again. And make sure that it's still the case. Everyone's changing.
Yeah. And also, one more additional here. So on one hand, it's really nice to have some LinkedIn budget, of course. But also on the other hand, it's also important to engage your team as well, to be active in groups, in dedicated groups on LinkedIn, as well as somewhere else, because many times you just simply go there, maybe place actually the same content that you would put on sponsored, and then try to engage the people and try to generate something exciting. So it was really funny, but a couple of months ago, I had only a single question for the LinkedIn group admins, and I generated even more impressions with one of my very best newsletters, because it was some issues with our LinkedIn page, and all the others faced with exactly the similar issue. And then it was a beautiful conversation, and then you could see who were there. And then also afterwards, I engaged all with these guys. I also sent connection requests, because who knows, maybe later we can have some common things together.
Great question, thank you very much. Right, we are sadly at time now, and I genuinely mean this. I could talk to you girls all day long, so thank you very much for coming in and give us some time. I'm sure both Jade and Sophia are going to be around today, so if you want to ask anything, albeit TikTok, LinkedIn, or anything social media, please come in and give them a question. Okay, so we need to move on now. You've got 5 minutes to change rooms if you want to, but up next...
That was awesome.
Up next is one... Oh, say thank you to the social... Yeah, thanks, everyone. Up next, we've got the guy with the absolute best profile picture I've ever seen in my life, so I cannot wait to talk to Henrik. It's up there, right? I cannot wait. There's been a big debate inside my organisation about how cool is that guy. So hang around if you want to hear it from that session, and likewise, there's more interesting stuff going on next door. So we'll see you in 5 minutes.